What's up, athletes? We're back in action. I've been thinking recently about, or kind of reflecting on a bunch of different races that I've experienced because a bunch of you are racing this weekend. David has the Tahoe Trail 100, and then we've got Cassidy, we have Davis, and Easton Lunsford all racing the Soldier Hollow Cup, and I think even Luke is also racing that. There's a bunch of people racing this weekend, and I've been reflecting on what leads to good racing, what leads to fun racing. And also reflecting on why we race. Why do we even ride bikes in the first place? And if this question is hard for you to answer, if it doesn't come to you immediately, I would encourage you to take some time and reflect on that. Think about why you ride bikes in the first place. What makes it fun for you? What is the value that it brings into your life? And maybe even write it down and think about the different reasons. There's probably more than one reason. Maybe one will stand out above the rest, but I would take some time to consider it, because if it's hard to think of and hard to remember, there's a good chance that you've drifted from it. And that's something that has happened to me periodically throughout racing. And I was reflecting on my experience last year. Last year was a really interesting year of racing for me because I had just gotten home from my mission, and so I had no expectations the entire year. Each race, I did a really good job at just approaching with curiosity and saying, you know what, I've just been home for a few months. I don't have a ton of training under my belt. We're just going to see how this goes. And it ended up being a lot more fun, and I ended up racing really well with this sort of a mentality where each race was just an opportunity to push myself, an opportunity to see where I was at, but I never put really heavy pressure on myself, even in bigger races. And I was able to put together a really wonderful season of racing with some really good results, including a top 10 finish at Collegiate National Championships. Versus this year, I've put a little bit more pressure on myself, telling myself that I've trained more. I've been home from my mission a year and a half. I should be able to race really well. And it's led to racing not being as fun, honestly. I've had more. It's been kind of I don't know, it's been fine, but I haven't been able to reconnect and find that true joy that I love with racing. And as I've been reflecting on this, I was thinking about Nino Schurter as well, who pretty undisputably the greatest mountain bike racer to ever race bikes. He's phenomenal. And he's won 35 World Cups, set the record. He's won 10 World Championship titles, which is unbelievable. And he's always close to the front. I mean, not always, but like 95% of the time he is toward the front of the race. And what he does, I was really fascinated when I was doing some research on him. He drinks a bottle of champagne every race morning because to him, racing is a celebration. It's a celebration of his training, a culmination of the effort that he has put in over a period of time. And that mentality to me is beautiful, and I think it's allowed Nino Schurter to stay good for so long. I think he's 37 years old now, and I mean, he started winning World Cups when he was early 20s, so it's been 15 plus years that this man has been at the top of the world in racing. And I think if it's not fun, if it's not bringing you joy, that's impossible. You're going to burn out, you're going to quit, or you're just going to stop racing as well. But for him, he keeps it fun. I remember seeing a video also recently on Instagram of him just smiling through the race going down a really fun descent. And that's the mentality we need to find. Surely if Nino Schurter, who racing for him, it's his career, it's his livelihood. There's definitely more pressure for him than for me and you, where we're doing it. And we might have big goals, right, to accomplish big things, but we definitely have less eyes on us and less pressure than Nino Schurter does. Yet Nino Schurter is able to race with so much joy and so much, and just have a good time. So think about that. I know I always tell you guys that try to have fun, but this is for real. Like, I honestly believe that if you're having fun and if you remember why you're racing, you will be able to be better for a longer period of time, and it will just be an overall better experience. Those who have fun on the bike, they make training fun, they make racing fun, they end up just being faster because it's something that they enjoy. They enjoy every process. When they see reverse pyramid intervals, they get excited because they get to go chase some KOMs or push their body to the limit or whatever it might be for you. That brings you that the happiness from racing. So think about that this weekend, as a lot of you are racing your mountain bike on Saturday, tomorrow. The other thing that I was reflecting on was a little bit of race tactics and strategy. When I sent out that feedback form, a number of you said you wanted more specific race strategy for races that are coming up. So if anyone's doing a different race I'm not aware of for some reason other than the Soldier Hollow I-Cup or the Tahoe Trail 100, please let me know and I'll send you something else. But for those who are racing the Soldier Hollow I-Cup, there's a bunch of you. This course, Soldier Hollow, is steep. It's not super fast. It's basically drafting is irrelevant for most of the race. Because of this, I want you to really focus on racing the course. So there's kind of two different ways of racing. You can either race other people or you race the course. There's always an element of both, right? But I think there can be a focus on one or the other. And in a race like Soldier Hollow, where drafting is not going to be important, it is really, really helpful to race the course. This will end up giving you the highest average speed, and average speed wins races. So think about that and just focus on having your race. And I would focus on having either consistent laps or even negative splits throughout the race, where each lap you get faster and faster. What this will do is help you mentally as you continue to pass people throughout the race, and it will also help you physically as you will avoid burnout and blowing up and be able to still finish empty, but in a smart and consistent way. So what that would look like is maybe starting the first lap in a sub-threshold for most of the race, and then continually increase. And then for David, who's racing the Tahoe Trail 100, I've already talked to him a little bit about this, but for the other listeners and people watching this, the Tahoe Trail 100 is a 60-ish mile mountain bike race in Tahoe. And it's a fast course. There is a lot of climbing, but it's mostly dirt roads, and it's really, really quick. Fast racing is 30-mile laps. And for a race like that, again, it's a big race. There's going to be a lot of people. And so, again, you don't necessarily have to worry very much about racing the other people, because there will always be people for you to work together with, because drafting will be more important in that race. So I talked to David about this, but I would recommend starting at a mid-tempo or a low tempo and slowly increasing throughout the 60-mile race, so that you're just finishing all out and kind of done at the end, right? But generally, it's just this kind of slow increase or steady from mid to high tempo to low sub threshold. And what that will do is it'll keep picking off people, which is really good mentally, and you'll still continue to have people to work with, but you'll still be able to leave everything out on the course. So in summary, keep it fun. Remember why you ride the bike. If that doesn't come to your mind easily, I would take some time to reflect that and ponder and think about what makes biking special for you. Second, race the course, not people, this weekend, especially on these courses where there's either a lot of people or drafting isn't very important. So if you have questions about other tactics or race strategy, things you want to go over, or how to have more fun on the bike, or maybe you're struggling, maybe you're feeling burnt out, please call me, reach out to me, and let's have a conversation about that and make a plan to help you come out of that. Because it's real, right? People burn out all the time. And as your coach, I hope that I can help each of you to stay focused on the things that matter most, and that I can help you have fun on the bike, so that you can keep enjoying this amazing sport your whole life, because that's one of the beauties of mountain biking, is that it doesn't need to end at any point. We can keep doing this for a really, really long time. But if you're feeling burnt out, if you're feeling unmotivated, I get it. I've been there. A lot of athletes I coached have been there. So reach out for real. Let's talk about it and make a plan, because this will be a game changer for you in your cycling career, but also in other aspects of your life. So I'm here. Let me know if you need anything.